Welcome to another whiteboard session. We're going to be editing a poem that was sent to us. That way we're going to be looking at things like structure, stakes, word choice, anything that we think can help advance the goal of the poem further. What I'd like you to do, and you can either write this in a notebook or think about, I want you to think of 2 or 3 comments that you have about the poem. They can be critiques, they can be suggestions, they could be questions you have, they could be points of praise, but I want you to identify 3 things that you would identify with this poem that we will be discussing. Laron, what are your goals for the poem? What do you want to do with this?
So for this, I just want to show the excitement of waking up, unwrapping gifts, kind of like my old childhood memories of Christmas, how I felt when I got my gifts the next day. And, but you know, they still do it on the news, how they go watch Santa and Santa's delivery, even though Santa's not real. Y'all know Santa's not real, but it's just pretty much the moment. It's not really about the gifts. It's just those family, have family friends. I don't remember anything that I got for Christmas, or I do, but I don't have stuff anymore.
Right.
But it was more about being around family, having dinner and stuff like that. So
Okay.
So just kind of capture that feeling.
So what do you want to do with the poem in the future?
I guess show some representation of how it's joyous, like it's a good time of year.
Okay, I'll refer. Like in terms of like, is it just for you, or are we just going to stick this in a drawer and be like, that was nice, or are we putting it in a book? Are we trying to get it published?
Yeah, trying to get it published.
You have a what kind of book?
Christmas book.
So you have a book of Christmas poems.
Yeah.
Okay. Who is this book of Christmas poems for?
Oh, I guess kids.
To look at kids.
Yeah.
Okay. So not so much adults, more for kids.
Yeah. Or I mean, or adults who feel like they're kids.
Or adults who feel like they're kids. Okay.
I don't want to grow
Okay.
Mostly children, mostly kids.
Okay. So younger audience.
Young at heart audience. I don't want to grow up.
Right. I just saw
Okay.
this year about that too.
Okay. You guys ready? I might record one marker. Okay. So I'm glad I asked that question about who the poem's for, because my feedback would have been very, very different. But based on what you're telling me, that, okay, so we have a book. You told me you have a book of poems. You're thinking about creating a book of Christmas poems. Ideal audience, kids. Okay, what age?
I can't say teenagers, under teenagers, because teenagers,
Pre-teen.
Okay.
they're growing out of that mode.
So like maybe like 7, 10-year-olds, somewhere in that.
Somewhere right.
Maybe 8 to 10. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, 8 to 10-year-olds. We don't have a ton of topics here, but typically the way this sort of format for workshop goes is that we take these points, we raise them to the poet, and then the poet decides that, yes, I want to hear more about this, or no, I don't want to hear more about this. There's not a ton of points here to get started, but is there anything here that you don't want to discuss?
No, it's all fine.
It's all okay? Okay.
It's all good.
In that case, I'll just go in order then, if that's okay with everybody. Let's start off with timing. I'm going to raise this to the group. Okay. Do we feel that the timing that happens in this poem is a little bit inconsistent? Leland, did you want to explain again what you meant about the issues with time?
Well, we all know Santa finishes on Christmas Eve, not Christmas night.
So Santa needs to finish before
Well,
Christmas.
yeah, because if it's Christmas night, it's a whole 24 hours later.
So we're saying that Christmas nights and that this should be like it's Christmas Eve.
It's Christmas Eve.
Okay.
So I'll just make a note. Should this be Christmas Eve or Christmas, like early morning or something like that?
Yeah,
Like I think.
Yeah, I think you should.
Okay.
Probably Christmas morning, because the kids are getting up. They get excited. Just wake up to get up.
Especially if you just
it's
finished.
early Christmas morning. It's like a train. It's
Mhm.
early Christmas morning.
Yeah.
Christmas morning, that way, something like that.
Okay. Were there other places where there were inconsistencies in time, or places where we weren't sure about things?
Oh, like Santa's around looking out for to be seen and looking out the window. Because he's usually gone by the time y'all wait. But I can understand that too. So you maybe say it's early Christmas morning, and at the end, as we went to fall asleep, we seen Santa. I don't know. I don't.
So it's like this moment here in particular.
Yeah, like I said, it's just this timing, because what I've learned about this imaginary person that celebrates this pagan holiday is it's done by Christmas Eve, and how it's able to work is because of time zones. So like, how can you deliver
Okay.
gifts in one day? Well,
Okay.
because of time zones.
I mean, let's maybe kind of go line by line, kind of track what's happening in terms of time. Okay, so Laron, are we changing night to eve?
Yes.
So this is a pretty definite change that we're going to make, eve or morning or something. There's going to be some sort of change here. Okay. Okay, so we're going to make some sort of change here. Okay. So Christmas Eve, Santa just finished his delivery. Okay, Christmas Eve, it's really late at night or it's really, really early in the morning. He just finished his deliveries to all the girls and boys. The excited smiles that show on all their faces just makes it all worth there. Who's there?
Oh, that's the wrong. No, that's the key is.
It makes it all worth.
The excited smiles makes it all worth the kids' while.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice.
So the kids are smiling and that makes it worth their own while.
I guess so.
What's worth if something's worth your while? What does that mean?
That means they were waiting for something, or they're
Just like
anticipating it.
it was worth the wait.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
Okay, so is it worth their while? Or is it worth the waiting, or is it worth the?
That's what. Yeah.
Worth.
Wow. That's what it's translated.
Okay, so like worth waiting,
Yeah, worth waiting or waiting.
like worth waiting like months for, or something like that. Okay. Because otherwise, I think you're going to run into some issues there. Because it's not. The kids don't have the struggle. Like it's the people delivering the gifts, or like Santa, or like someone else. You know what I mean? So like there's a little bit that works a little bit. Okay. I'm a little bit confused on time, a little bit. So Christmas Eve, Santa just finished his deliveries. All the little boys and girls over. Okay, so Santa did his deliveries. I just want to make sure I'm tracking the poem. Okay, so Santa did his deliveries. The excited smiles that show on their faces happens later.
Yeah. Cause
Right?
Yeah, because they see all the gifts downstairs.
Right. So if I'm like on a timeline, this is just finished his deliveries. So it's like right now. The excited smiles showing on their faces just makes it worth all the while. So that's the future. Am I tracking?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay. Stockings filled, top of chimney. This kind of, I'll be honest, this kind of threw me off because I'm thinking exterior top of the chimney. I'm not thinking mantle.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, they don't say top, it says the tip. Like,
I mean, the same.
Same thing. Right?
Yeah. Well,
I'll put it like this. If I'm inside and I look at my chimney, I don't think. If you tell me where's the tip of the chimney, I am not going to be on the mantle. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like the thing above the fireplace.
Yeah. So like,
I need to change that.
right above
we
the
might
fire.
need a mantle.
Yeah, because the chimney's on top of the house. The roof.
Exactly. So I'm outside. When you told me this, I'm personally outside. I was not inside, and it's just now when I'm thinking about
Yeah, so just change chimney to the
Oh.
fireplace. That's what
okay.
Yeah.
Irvin, how we feeling so far? We good?
Yeah.
Okay. Any thoughts so far?
I don't really have anything like popping out at me.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm still kind of like just reading through it again.
Got you. Okay. I'm gonna keep tracking time a little bit. So stockings filled on the mantle, gifts wrapped around the Christmas tree. Man, what a sight it is to see sitting by a cozy fireplace as gifts are passed. So now I'm in the future still.
Well, also maybe suggest that one line up there, right after man, what a sight to see. Then you can put that line, that excited and smiles, and go right after that. What a sight to see. The excited smiles on the children's faces.
I don't.
Just makes it worth the parents' while. That way it's saying they are there. There's two theirs, but you're talking about two different people.
So I think there are some like pronoun things. Yeah. But this time thing. I don't know where I am because like the first part. I'm okay, just finished his deliveries. I'm in that moment, but everything else really kind of is pushing me towards the future because what I is see sitting by cozy fireplaces, the gifts are passed. Unless, are people doing this as soon as Santa finishes?
Well, I suppose not, because that's not how it usually works. Santa's usually gone.
Right? Like, but I don't, but I mean, we see Santa taking flight later, so I mean, I don't,
if it was early morning and it was the last stop, then technically they could have woke up by the sound of it leaving. You know.
I think there's a lot of ambiguity here. I think there's a lot of options.
Yeah, we don't have to necessarily be here, a child here in America.
I wonder if we need more indications of the moment, like a few more time words, a few more things to let us know that we're not.
No, essentially, it sounds like I just made everything happen all at once. So
Yeah.
so it's that like Santa delivery, because then you can start wrapping it out, but you need a little bit more like time-based thing, like time has passed. Like
If-
they already delivered his gifts, and then the kids came opening the gifts and stuff like that.
Right.
So it happened.
There's a lot happening in a very fast moment, right? So, and that's cool if I'm given enough clues to know that, you know, we're not time traveling. I'm in a single moment, and it's just that this is a very busy moment. Santa's busy, like flying away, and we're busy opening the presents he just left us. Like,
right. So it's not all happening at one time. What you're saying?
Well,
it can be, but I'm also. I'll put it like this. So, from a reader's perspective, let's imagine my first poem reading of yours. I don't know how you operate. I know nothing about the logic of your poem. So I don't know if these are things that are done intentionally or unintentionally. Like, I don't know, are these mistakes? Is this, no, this is how it's supposed to be and everything's like, it takes time to build up that trust, right?
So I need to be a little bit more clear when things are happening.
I would maybe even make a timeline to be like, in like 12:01, Santa leaves, 12:05, like kids go downstairs, like, you know, something like that, just to, and I'm not saying put that timeline into the poem, but like just to have it in your mind to be like, this is the sequencing.
Okay.
Leland?
Well, because it is going to be happening fast. As y'all know, it's got to be done within 24 hours. So things are happening fast.
I mean, yeah, but there's a difference between 24 hours and 24 seconds, right? Like, this is like...
So, but it works because they're like target, like I said, because the timing. The last place you'll be at is usually probably around Hawaii. So it could work. You live in Hawaii.
I mean, I'm not going to try to guess what this flight path is in,
Because,
but...
well, I know Japan's 24 hours ahead of us. So he could start there, and that's why.
12, but yeah,
No,
point to...
Japan's like a whole day ahead of us.
It's 12 hours. If it's 24 hours, it's the same time as now.
Ahead, so it's already the next day already.
It's... all right, man.
It's already like
I'm not gonna debate clocks, but like
it's already 8 o'clock at night Friday there.
as gifts are passed from one another, from brother to sister, father and mother, everyone is filled with so much warmth and joy. That's the real gift on Christmas night. After all their gifts are unwrapped. So now we get another kind of movement forward, right? After all the gifts, after.
Oh, it's like 13.
Yeah. So after all the gifts are unwrapped, passed around and presented. So this is the other bigger time jump, right? Because now we're in the
like late night Christmas.
right. Okay. We all look out the window, see Santa take flight. So what's Santa been doing this whole time?
Oh yeah, I guess by the time nighttime comes, he's long gone.
He gone. I mean,
So I'm gonna be like,
Yeah, that's
I
why I
might take
said-
that part out.
Or you could say, like I said, as we first woke up, we seen Santa headed. You got to.
I mean, these.
Maybe they seen it as they woke up and come out of the bed. They walk up and see Santa flying away.
These
They
last
still put it in. It's got to be changed to somewhere else.
these last three lines really do kind of put us in a whole different scene than what comes before it. I'm not saying take them out, but I would be kind of asking why the shift. We didn't shift anywhere else except for this moment, so why now? It's happening for a reason. We all look out the window, see Santa's take flight, head back to North Pole. Again, he's probably gone by now, so is this logical? And the other thing too is I think this last moment is also a section where we start introducing a number of like cliche ideas, like very expected. Like for instance, like North Pole. The idea of like, kids looking out the window, like, look, there's Santa. Like, he goes, ho, 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 the ho, ho, hoing, the Merry Christmas to all, good night. I mean, that's not even your line, right?
True.
And I feel like that's a large amount of expected language in a short time frame compared to everything that came before it.
Yeah, kind of like what we talked about in the last session.
Keep it fresh, keep it fresh.
Okay. So yeah, I can revert on that, just using my own words.
So I would be asking, why the shift in time, why all this? Is it necessary for the poem? If it is, what is the key element that is contributing? If it's not, why did we write it in the first place? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
These are kind of some of the questions I would be asking myself. Other questions about timing? Questions about timing? No? Speaking of time, what time is it right now? So make sure we get time.
5:07.
Cool, doing good. All right, let's talk about word choice and repetitions. What are some of the repeated word choices that we see?
Joy and gifts.
Where's that? Oh, so warmth and joy, that gets repeated?
Yeah, then 2 lines down it says the spreading of love and joy.
Warmth and joy, love and joy. Okay, got you. Gifts. We see gifts. The real gift. Gifts. Very short time span, yeah. And we even see gifts up here. And we also see gifts up here.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, so you can work too.
Okay, it makes some appearances, right?
That's why you have other people read your stuff.
This is okay.
I just let them know. I leave it like that because I'm gifted.
Even in that regard, there's a lot of Christmas, right? Christmas. Christmas. Christmas.
Oh, jeez, wow.
Christmas. Christmas. And that's not to say, remove them all, but
Yeah.
there's this idea that, every time you use a word, that it becomes worth less
And
in the
it's
piece.
a short form too, so I need to really.
So
Short form, 'cause, short form is more noticeable.
it is. Yeah, so when you have a shorter poem, the word choices really do start to stand out a lot more.
Yeah.
Okay, we don't really have time. Are there other words that appear a lot? I think talking more about vocab, I think you can get away with this if the audience is kids. But just because you can get away with something, does that mean you should, right? So,
Although I want all the tips. It'll make you a better poet later.
so I'd be worried about cliche expected expressions. We kind of mentioned this, but like for instance, all the little boys and girls.
I would just say, I was like children instead of saying that or something like that.
Potentially stockings filled. So for instance, we've all heard this for Christmas. How can I make a phrase like stockings filled into something that feels a little bit fresher?
Like new age kind of saying? Like saying stockings filled.
Stockings filled. What do you see what do you see? I'll rephrase. When you close your eyes and you hear the phrase stockings filled, what do you see?
I was about to say like the little socks that hang from the chimney. So instead of saying stockings.
Okay, but it's
I
filled.
say socks or stuff.
Yeah, so you say.
What does that look like?
It could be anything like candy or
What candy?
it could be candy canes or gingerbread man or something like that.
Okay. Is there any like special treats that you had on Christmas that other kids didn't have?
Not really, just normal candy canes.
Candy canes, chocolate what?
Chocolate Hershey Kisses, stuff like that.
Okay. Do they have different ones for the holiday?
Wait, I know one. My aunt used to make chocolate buckeyes.
So, stockings filled. It's like stockings.
Stuffed full of candy.
Like, is there a way we could incorporate like chocolate buckeyes in this?
I already say stuffed full of candy.
What candy though? That's not. We gotta lean in.
It has to be a little bit more descriptive.
Candy doesn't mean anything.
Candy means what you mean?
It doesn't mean anything.
How does that mean anything? We're not talking about a stripper named Candy, so
Better be a big stocking. What can you see more? Can you see a chocolate Buckeye more, or can you see candy more?
I see a chocolate Buckeye.
I see a chocolate Buckeye 1,000 times better. Go in. Stop settling. Go in. Like.
then I was gonna say set up the chocolate bucket because it's above the fireplace.
Go in.
We'll have the fireplace one. So it's above the chocolate, so maybe stop and fill with lollipops.
Okay. What color? What flavor?
Cherry lollipops.
Cherry lollipops. What do you see more, lollipops or cherry lollipops?
Cherry light.
Cherry lollipops. Go in.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Stop. Like we got it. Yeah.
Red popped in my head.
It's like, how can we apply this to our own poems? Go in. Go deep. Be specific. Irvin, be specific.
As far as candy goes?
I mean, just in general, just like in life, like you know, like the,
zoned
like
out.
I don't know. No, you're good. It's a wonderful thought. I understand. I think we have some other opportunities to do that too, like gifts wrapped around the Christmas tree. What gifts? What do they get for Christmas?
Toys, remote control cars, trains.
What kind of car? Remote control. What kind of car?
RC car.
What kind of candy? What kind of car?
RC Pro, one of the little radio control cars.
I'm familiar, but what kind of car?
Radio control Honda. Radio control.
Dump truck, race car.
Okay, because that's a different thing.
Yes.
The kid that wants the RC dump truck is not necessarily the same kid that wants the RC like princess.
Power
You know, it's a different. These are different gifts.
Power wheels sitting around the
Doesn't
tree.
mean the same thing.
Power wheels.
Doesn't mean the same thing.
You know, kids will be happy when they see a little car sitting by a tree, big old power wheels sitting.
Not to like harp too much on this stuff, but like another example, a cozy fireplace. What's a cozy fireplace?
It's warm
Why is it warm?
because there's fire.
How big is the fire?
Big enough to fit in a place for it.
The more you can tell me about this, the more I can be there.
Gotcha.
Maybe
I think-
describe the room more, like as far as being cozy.
Yeah.
Like, everybody's like on the couch together or sitting on the carpet.
Most people know what
Yeah.
cozy is.
Because to me, cozy, like sitting on the carpet to me is a little bit more intimate than people sitting on a couch because it's like you're purposely a little bit more casual, you know?
Sitting cozy on the floor around the fireplace. Is that better?
No.
said
Go,
where?
you go, more. What does it smell like?
Roast nuts.
Is that what Christmas, what did Christmas smell like at your house?
Peppermint.
Peppermint.
Or biscuits.
Biscuits?
Green beans, ham, turkey.
See what he did when you told that? He was like, yeah. You put him there. He's like, yeah, I can, even if that wasn't his Christmas experience, you can put him there. And he'll be there because he'll apply his own experience. Yeah, we didn't have biscuits, but, you know, we had like cinnamon, like cookies, like cinnamon cakes and things like that, you know? Go in. Stop settling, okay?
But you said it had to be 30 lines, so the more you go in, that's more words.
How many lines is this? 5, 6, 7, 8. This ain't 30 lines.
This
No
is something-
excuses.
No, I don't, like cozy, like.
The things I added would not have added us up to 30
no, I'm
lines.
saying there's some things like cozy fire. I know what cozy fireplace is. You see it in movies, and it's for kids, so you don't have to go in too much. You know?
So that is, I don't disagree. That does bring us to our last point about the kids. So like, this goes up to what earlier, like just because you can get away with it, does that mean you should? You know what I mean? So I think there's still ways to enrich this
Yeah. I don't
without,
have to make it all too complicated,
you know,
but I can still,
you know.
I can still use different words.
you know?
language.
Like what if this was written not just for kids, but was written for Ohio kids? Like for instance, that chocolate Buckeyes is going to stand out a lot more.
Right.
Like if it like Christmas poems for Ohio Buckeyes,
Yep.
that's a different book than just Christmas poems. You know what I mean? The more you lean in, the more you opens up things. I wanted to get to this last point though before we head out. What about the poem demonstrates kids? Does this read like a poem to you that's written for kids?
For the most part,
Yeah.
it does.
Because of what?
So when you first read the poem, you were like, oh, kids poem.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
kind of. Because you look out the window. kids usually do.
Like, it just seemed like the whole theme of it was like being a kid. Yeah.
Adults ain't looking out for them Santa Claus.
Okay. What to you about this screams kids? Show me the kid
boys
stuff.
And girls.
Little boys and girls.
Yeah.
Okay.
Christmas in general, because unwrapping gifts. Most adults don't do gift things. Don't work. Gift things are usually for children.
Who's the speaker?
One of the kids, I'm guessing.
Is the speaker a kid?
I don't think so. I think it's like more like a narrator.
What do you know about him?
I imagine it doesn't say specifically, but it could be the father, maybe an uncle.
Are there lines that suggest to you that this is what leads you to that conclusion?
Just the fact that they're mentioning the kids.
Okay, so the focus on the kids,
Right.
seeing the kids. Kids don't necessarily always see kids.
Right. But
Are there other lines and things that suggest to you that the speaker is older and not a child?
That they're passing the gifts.
that
Kids
they're
will
even
go
noticing
under the
this.
tree and rip open their own gifts. They ain't passing.
I mean, the fact that they're even noticing.
Okay, so the observations, things they notice.
Doesn't give a fuck about
Okay,
that.
yeah.
Like, they got a gift.
Yeah, they ain't passing.
Let's kind of go. It's Christmas Eve. Santa just finished his deliveries. Could we see a kid thinking that? Just Joe, yes, no, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. To all little boys and girls all over the world, could we see a kid thinking that, saying that?
Yeah.
I can see it. The excited smiles that show on all their faces just makes it all worth their while. Kid?
There, I think it's the parent.
Now we're starting to change things a little bit, right? It's like,
I think the first
Okay.
four faces is the kid. And that's why I was saying.
Okay.
The second one, I think, is the parent. It's worth the parents while
Okay.
getting all the gifts wrapped up.
Doesn't quite feel like the kid's perspective. I agree.
Yeah.
Stockings filled at the tip of the chimney. Kid?
No,
Could go either way. I'm open to it. Fine. Gifts wrapped around the Christmas tree. Kid?
That'd be an adult explaining the gifts.
I think kids would say that.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
You go.
Either way, there's
If it's either way, I'll accept it for kids.
yeah.
Man, what a sight it is to see. Kid?
Yeah, I'd say definitely a kid there.
No.
Because I might have to. I'm gonna have to vote. No, I don't. I don't see a kid being like, man, what a great sight to see. Everyone's sitting by the fireplace. I just don't. I mean, maybe
I
it's a
think
real
it's
sentimental kid,
adult,
but
especially since it's worth their while.
I don't. I don't think that's a kid.
I think that's an adult.
Sitting by the cozy fireplace as gifts are passed from one another. Is that a kid noticing that?
Probably not.
Probably not.
That's
It feels like an adult reflecting.
yeah,
From brother to sister, father to mother.
another adult.
Probably a little adultish, right? Everyone is filled with so much warmth and joy.
Either way.
Yeah, it feels a little adult. But not just from the gifts, but from the gift of family.
Definitely not a kid.
The spreading. So I think you get the idea. So I would go through these lines. Well, actually, let me rephrase. The first thing I would do is I would be like, who is my speaker? Adult or kid? If this is a book of Christmas poems, how does the poem change if it's from the kid's perspective versus if it's from the adult's perspective? In the book, so you mentioned this for a book, so does the book change perspectives between adults and kids? Is it always the same perspective? Is it always the kid's perspective? Is it always the adult's? Like, these are all things I needed to be thinking about. Okay. And I know that we're talking specifically about Laron's poem right now, but I hope you guys understand we're not just talking about Laron's poem, right? Okay.
It's just a poem on display.
Right. It's just a metaphor. The more information you know about your speaker, the more you can go in. You know. I know we've been talking about this for a little while. Final questions, thoughts, concerns, things about this piece.
It was a good starter. Yeah, but it's good. Like, that's why I'm starting to come here now too, because
I don't know,
Minecraft a little better.
like as far as the recommendation goes, like if you wanted to keep it to like, because you know you're writing about it like as though it's for kids and stuff, but you're an adult, so why not like kind of switch it up to where like the first half of the poem is from the kid's perspective, but then to wrap it up at the end, it's like the adult's perspective as far as being like, you know, the warmth, the family, and all that. But the beginning is like just the excitement of being a kid on Christmas, like yes.
Yeah.
But then, you know, come back later, you can come from an adult. I don't know, like come from an adult's perspective.
Yeah, I like it because it makes it more consistent. It's not as confusing because you go kid to dog, that makes it kind of confusing. And you don't really know who's talking, who's speaking.
I mean, I feel fairly confident that this speaker is an adult. Personally, I don't know if that was the intention or not, but the vibe I get is definitely more adult.
Yeah, kind of like like you said, narrator, kind of like the narrator on It's a Wonderful Life. I don't know how I came in as a narrator, but you watch the movie. It's kind of, so it feels like the older person is narrating it. Like you can kind of see the scenes fold out as they're narrating, like in the movie, It's a Wonderful Life.
I mean, I think it's important to remember that, anytime you're reading a book, even if it's a speaker or a narrator that's not trying to enter the action, that's still, there is no reliable narrator. They're all bringing in their own unique perspectives, even if they're trying to be omniscient and things like that. There still doesn't really exist. And the more that you know about your narrator and the things that they pay attention to and the things they don't pay attention to, the more you can kind of play with that and deepen your piece. I feel like this is a speaker that wants to stay kind of neutral and above when they're paying attention to all this stuff for a reason. I would go more into that if this weren't a kid's poem. If it's a kid's poem, fine, I'll allow it. But if this weren't a kid's poem, I would be really trying to understand a little bit more of the motivations behind it, because I don't really know what's at stake for the speaker. Why are they so obsessed with this? Do they love Christmas or do they love the idea of Christmas? I don't know. I don't know enough about them. I don't know about them.
They love that time of year. They might not like the day itself, but they love the time of year.
But something's causing them to love it.
Past memories.
Well, yeah. So I need to know.
Current.
I need to know. I don't have enough understanding of motivations.
I see enough motivation because he says he's with family. That's motivation right there.
For some people.
He gets from family.
Not everyone likes that though.
You can't please everyone.
You can't, but we arrive at our thoughts for a reason.
I know. Like I said, when somebody doesn't like it, I just call them my fifth dentist.
Yes. So if this were written for an older audience, I'd be trying to probably dive in more into the motivations and the stakes, because I think right now they're a little bit unclear. Laron, any questions for us about the poem?
Oh no, you're giving me a lot of great tips. I didn't realize how repetitive it was until y'all read it, so I definitely gonna go in there and pull some of the words out.
Do you have it on your notes app? Do you have it on Word or?
Yeah, it's on Word.
If it's on Word, I would always, if I'm writing a poem, I'll try to find a word that gets repeated at least twice, and then I'll just like Control F just to see how often does it appear, just to kind of check yourself, because it's very easy we all have blind spots. It's hard to know when you're in it.
Especially with a shorter one, because it's like, oh my god,
for sure.
It's a short one, so
yeah.
I gotta make sure I don't have it too repetitive, because the shorter, like you said, the shorter it is, the easier it is to see. Where the longer one, how I use it one up here,
right?
Use it down here, and this, that, and the other.
All right, guys. Cool.
Cool.
Cool.